Welcome to the Transoceanic Actual Play Podcast. Yes, that name is a placeholder. This inaugural episode of the podcast, the Worldwound Avengers, is meant as a demonstration and testing ground for the TAPP, in which we practice both podcast etiquette and editing. If you are interested in a more refined game, keep an eye out for the new campaign on our YouTube channel. The Worldwound Avengers is set in the Pathfinder campaign setting. This podcast episode uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., which are used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. This podcast episode is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo Inc. For more information about Paizo's community use policy, please visit paizo.com/communityuse. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. Without further ado, I will begin the first episode of the Worldwound Avengers. This was all recorded in one session. We are cutting it up so it is easier to upload. First, I'll introduce our group. Basically, we are just a bunch of friends and siblings who started gaming a year ago online, and we do all our gaming online. But we know each other really well, and we decided to do a podcast. We will start with introductions from Morhek.
I'm Morhek, and I'll be playing Mankrull, the barbarian chieftain of the north, who's looking to regain his lost honor.
Where do you live, Morhek?
I live in New Zealand, which is not a part of Australia.
What are your pronouns?
I feel the need to emphasize this.
And Morhek's pronouns are he, him. And Gigi, you are next.
I am Gigi. I am going to be playing Tikkana Moralew, and she is a former member of the Technic League of Numeria before leaving on personal grounds and war grounds. I personally am currently situated in Australia, and yeah.
And I am playing Countess Iose, and my name is Yenklet. I live in Oregon, that's in the United States of America, and my pronouns are he, him. Countess Iose is a libertarian vampire of Earth.
Oh yeah, and I should have actually gone before Yank, but I'm Fish.
No, go to hell.
I'm Fish, and I'm DM. And I don't have any...
hell's the point of this campaign.
And I will get continually interrupted by the players, as you can see. And
Sorry.
My pronouns are he, him, and I live in Oregon, in the USA, and I play a lot of characters. Candor, you are up.
I am Candor, pronouns are he, him, and I live in the northeast of the US. I will be playing Elthae, Sword of Iomedae, and I am honor-bound to fight demons.
Very cool. Okay, according to our schedule, we're now going to do the intro, and basically, we tried playing this game earlier, and we tried to record it, but we failed. So this is just the second episode of the game, which is just recording it for real this time. Last time, I explained that this is a game set in the Worldwound in the setting of Galarian, where basically demons are pouring out of the earth, and various nations are being attacked by demons and trying to fight them off and control them. Last time in the game, 3 semi-heroes met in the village of Gundren. These heroes were Tikkana, Iose, and Mankrull, and they spoke to an elderly survivor of an attack on the remote thorp of Toresh. The survivor said that the people of his thorp had been massacred by a swarm demon called the Taka. He said that heavy gray demons had dragged the bodies of those killed in the massacre into the town's Chaos Circle. It was strange that they had been able to use this Chaos Circle for reliable transportation, given that the devices usually took the user to a random point in the Worldwound. The party made an overland trek to the thorp of Toresh, but they confirmed the elderly man's description. There were only bloodstains, no bodies. And stymied by the confusion of footprints, Tikkana flew up into the air, and she actually saw the Taka miles away, heading towards Gundren from the south. In a harrowing return trip, the party hustled back to Gundren, making it to the village just a minute before the Taka arrived, and they finally saw it up close. It was a massive ice mastodon, but its body was hollowed out by this swarm of fleshy, flying bat demons, and as it got up close, it charged towards Iose and Mankrull. There was some fighting with high-tech sonic rifles and skeleton gargoyles, a celestial that wasn't very effective, a swarm
He
that
was
the
very effective.
yeah, I mean it was all right.
He did his bit, or he tried to.
Yeah, he tried.
He gets the participation award, okay? Come on, fish.
And the Kakuintaka swarm was badly wounded. It released some undead versions of its own swarm. But Iose is a necromancer, so she just controlled the undead swarm and turned them against their creator.
Swarm's now under new management.
Yeah. And then Mankrull charged again, somehow impaling 100 flapping flesh bats on his lance, killing the swarm. The Kakuintaka was defeated, and Gundrun was saved. Despite your success, there is still this mystery of how the Chaos Circles were used for reliable transportation. The nearest library that would hold such information, Tikkana knows, is located about 50 miles to the southeast, on the border between Numeria and the Worldwound. This library is located in Fort Clearwater, which is named for the magically replenishing spring of fresh water that sits in its center. And this fort also holds one of the magical ward stones that prevents demons from moving across the border. That is also where Candor's character is, so we're just gonna fast forward to that. As you approach the it's not a massive fort, but as you approach the good-sized fort of Fort Clearwater, you see this kind of aging white castle sort of thing, and the gate is wide open.
Am I aware if that's a typical thing for the gate to be wide open? Like, are they inviting to most people, or?
What's your knowledge geography bonus? Or knowledge?
A good question. Let me just check that. It's 0. I don't have one.
Okay. Yeah, it's not normal for the forts to leave their gates wide open like this. Although you don't know the specifics about Fort Clearwater.
Who would leave the gates open? They don't keep books in a barn.
True, but this is sitting right on the border of the Worldwound, and frankly, demons getting in their hands on these books would be pretty bad.
Exactly.
In this adequately sized
get in
fort.
there.
Anybody? Yes, like demons.
For the proletariat.
What?
What? I didn't say anything.
No, of course you didn't. So, let's just go talk with somebody. I'm sure we could find somebody in the gatehouse, if there is one.
As you go up towards the gates, you see a small, well, not small, but short, clean-shaven dwarf come out from the gatehouse. And he says, "Welcome to Fort Clearwater. Who are you?"
Friend.
I am Mankrull. I come from the north.
I am Countess Iose, and these are my followers, gestures to the swarms of undead ravens and hulking gargoyles.
Don't point out the undead.
Pay them
That's
no
a little bit
heed.
strange.
Don't worry, they're with me.
I should ask one of my superiors about those. Wait outside the gates for a little while, and he
All right.
We'll wait.
goes up some stairs.
I'm sure we'll get a fair reaction.
Elthae, how did you pronounce it? Was it Elthae?
Yes.
Elthae. You see a fresh-faced dwarf whose name you know is Sinbon, coming up the stairs towards you. And he says, Sir Elthae, there is someone with what appears to be undead outside of the gates here.
What?
Let them in.
I go down to investigate.
Okay, so you see, Yank, do you want to describe your undead?
Yes, there are a pair of cloaked skeletal gargoyles, accompanied by what it was like 5 swarms of like rotting ravens just swarming around Iose, just sort of hanging out there. Iose is a normal person, not a vampire.
You really should.
You must be the person in charge.
You're actually not the person in charge. There is a paladin of Sarenrae who is in charge here.
You are mistaken. I'm not in charge here.
I'd rather speak with the person in charge, but all right.
Her name is Captain Thole, by the way.
Yes, I need to get my birds in here.
Sinbon says, "Can't you just leave them outside? I mean, I'm sure nothing would bother them."
These birds are a gift from my goddess, and you want me to leave them outside in the cold? That would be an insult.
Actually, I think you may have claimed them from a demon, but that's besides the point. Maybe you might want to actually leave them maybe just sort of a little ways away, so you don't disturb the paladins of a holy god that would probably don't want us bringing undead into their home.
I don't
First,
think undead are hurt by cold, Sinbon says.
first, possession is 9/10 of the law. Second, this is a gross infringement upon my religious rights. I should be able to bring my possessions wherever I want. Third, okay, we're kind of in a hurry. Let's go.
Thank you.
Okay.
I instruct the ravens to stay outside and just swarm around the gate.
They don't. Yeah. Once the ravens are staying outside, they're kind of okay with you bringing the gargoyles in because they kind of look human, maybe. And Sinbon leads you up into the central courtyard of the fort, which is centered around this gigantic monolith of a greenish stone that seems to sort of sparkle in the light. Sinbon says, "This is the ward stone of Fort Clearwater. You know, today is a very special day, where we will be undertaking the rites of purification. It is perhaps fortuitous that you have arrived here to see these rituals."
Oh yeah, no, I'm interested. I don't think I've seen one yet, so sure, I'm curious.
And Elthae, you know that the ward stones are renewed about every 50 years, or 25 years, and basically they need to, while they're being renewed, they're vulnerable to attacks.
So what
And
is this,
Sinbon,
some sort of cute little harvest ritual or something?
No, it's a
They need to
keeps
be
the demons
defended.
out. Yes.
Okay.
We can do defending, if it comes down to that. I mean, we've done a lot of defending lately, actually. So we've got a little bit of
My
experience.
birds inside.
Agan sniffs a little. My giant woolly rhino steed sniffs at the monolith, and Mankrull is also interested in the story of the monolith. What can you tell, Mankrull, of its history?
Well, it was mined from Nexavar, or up far to the north, near the capital city of Mundev, and it was erected here some 50 years ago as a defense against the demons during the Third Crusade, and, well, it has held strong. It has prevented the demons from entering.
Ah, says Mankrull, knowledge. A totem. Good.
Yes, yeah, you could see it like that.
What does it do?
Well, the wardstones create this magical barrier between each other, enclosing the taint of the Worldwound. So, the wardstone to the north connects to this one, blocking teleportation across the boundary, and also blocking demons from physically walking across.
Most of them anyways. It's gestures to Agan.
Mankrull says nothing but glowers at her.
Could I just ask what it's actually made of? It's like a strange greenish stone?
I think it's made of keratin and mostly flesh, but it is some sort of demonic creature. I'm quite certain of that. Oh, you're talking about the wardstone.
Yes, I'm talking about the ward stone. Thank you. Why are you gonna be making fun of it? Aiden's fine. He's big and he's kind of cute. In a sort of a,
The woolly rhino shakes his head, irritated, but Mankrull pats his neck, loving.
I
These
do not
newcomers
trust
do not
anything.
inspire confidence in me.
I do not trust anything with a tooth on its face.
Sinbon replies to Tikkana. The mineral that we use is called Nexavar. It is found in the silt of the Egelsea River up to the north, and it counteracts the corrupting influence of the Worldwound. It's basically coated around a large rock that has been inculcated with ancient runes and divine magics.
Oh, we better go talk with this paladin of yours, because we need to make use of your library. A couple of books, some strange things that we've encountered.
Oh, yes, of course. And Sinbon leads you to, okay, so at this point, Agan is going to have to stay outside, but everyone else is small enough to squeeze through the doors.
Mankrull whispers a few words of encouragement to keep him satisfied.
Agan sits down. Okay. And you go into a sort of chapel that's also like an office. Like the front altar is like covered with papers. And you see another dwarf who rises from her chair when she sees you. Sinbon, who are these? Well, I know the sword of Iomidai, but the rest? And Sinbon says, okay, let's see. Wait, did you actually introduce
Tikkana.
yourself?
Yeah, I just sort of introduced myself at this point. I am Tikkana Moralew. I'm from the Technic League. Well, was from the Technic League. Please don't associate me with the Technic League any longer, but I am a Technomancer. That will do you fine.
Interesting.
I am Mankrull. I come from the north.
I am Countess Iose.
I am Captain Thole. I am the regent of Fort Clearwater. And, what brings you here?
We need to make use of your library. We recently learned of a group of demons that were using the Chaos Gates. I think that was what they were called. Chaos Gates in order to travel somewhat reliably, or that's what we suspect. They killed some people in an outlying village, and apparently dragged the bodies into the gate. Kind of unusual.
That does sound very unusual. But you are welcome to use my library. You seem like, pure-hearted sorts. And here, Sinbon looks questioningly at Ios. She
Yes.
points you towards a room off to your west, and, there's a extensive library. You have like a day to study here. Also, if anyone wants to change their spells, let me know, or just change them yourself. You've had plenty of time to do so.
I'll have a look through, see if I want to change any of them.
And also, what's the Knowledge Arcana bonuses in the group?
Good question.
No.
Let me just...
Mankrull doesn't have much beyond ride rhino, so...
Yeah,
I do have
actually,
knowledge.
I do not have knowledge arcana as a wizard, but that's fine, because I'm an engineer before I am a wizard. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, and your int bonus is +5.
Yes.
Okay. So you get a +2 from library, and you can attempt untrained. Okay, yeah. Tikkana, after spending a day studying in the library, reading through books with Ios's help.
Is Cinnabon helping?
Oh, Sinbon can help, yeah. He doesn't have...
We'll allow the friendly inquisitor to assist us with this investigation, kind of explaining what's been happening lately. I'm kind of interested in why they're so interested.
Iose brews up some tea and mostly otherwise avoids the books. But she keeps people nourished.
Okay, Elthae is able to help. So as Elthae and Sinbon, who is not very helpful, and Tikkana look through the books, you find a treatise on chaos circles. Chaos circles they were originally simply like kind of totems in the middle of each town in the lost nation of Sarkoris. But then when Sarkoris became the Worldwound, when that entire nation was subsumed by the demonic taint, these native ritual circles were corrupted and were imbued with teleportation magic. Basically, they usually function to transport a user to another random chaos circle in the Worldwound, but there is rumor that a demon and a human who is versed in the hex magic of the ancient Sarkoris, working together, can use the chaos circles for more reliable ends. They can sort of tune them to act together.
Interesting. But who would do that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's fairly rare for there to be powerful demon worshippers who are also mages in the Worldwound.
Fascinating. Well, I guess that kind of tells us a little bit of what we might want to be looking for, but it still leaves a lot more questions than answers. What do you guys think?
What? Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was praying for my goddess. What did you find?
Oh, apparently the Chaos Circles kind of can be used if a powerful demon, and also a powerful spellcaster, particularly apparently an arcane one, were to work together in order to try and make sure that the Chaos Circles are reliable in their teleportation, which is, one, kind of concerning, and two, unusual.
We're up against a powerful arcane caster. That could be a problem.
Truly.
Mankrull thinks if he gets to fight more monsters, he doesn't care particularly why or how.
Glad about you showing quite a considerable amount of enthusiasm when you kind of realize that we're not just facing demons here. Don't know what this could be. Oh well. I guess we probably might want to ask around, maybe start more investigations into seeing if there were any powerful spellcasters that moved through the area lately.
This is downright disturbing.
Really.
As the sun sets in the west, you hear a great grinding noise, and they're closing the gates out, the gates of the fort.
Oh, We'd probably at best ask if we could stay here for the night then.
Sindon says you're welcome to stay the night. Captain Thole already arranged rooms for you.
Convenient.
Okay, so the night passes uneventfully until about 3 in the morning, when you hear the sound of a low horn sounding from above you. This has been the first episode of the Worldwound Avengers, and of the Transoceanic Actual Play podcast. Who blew the horn at 3 a.m.? Why? And is Agan really a demon? Find out in the next episode. And please subscribe, like, reblog, dig.it, upvote, comment, forward, and recommend. Thank you for listening.